So, yeah. I mean, I live in a place like this. I've got my goals and stuff. But, that's for at least months down the track. For living. Because, just thinking about where I'd want to, place I'd want to live in and whereabouts. Those things. Sit up straight. There we go. Street sitting. So you're gonna say, oh, this is different to Gump House. Well, you got to remember that. So Forrest Gump was a baby boomer, if you want to go by when the book says he was born, and so it's a fictional character based upon reality. But if he was alive today, he would be an old kuro. He'd be in his coming up to 80s, 70s. And it was his parents, or his mother, well, I don't know, his father died in a war. Well, it doesn't say which one, but we're presuming his daddy went to war and was killed in war. So the mother was left the house, so whether it was most probably earned from his daddy, from his father. But when she passed away, well, it doesn't say this in the book, he ends up getting his own stuff. He ends up doing his own thing. But in the movie, when she passes away, he inherits the house. Doesn't say so, but she passes away. According to the movie, he's the only son. So, remember, he lived there for the rest of the movie, right? So how'd that happen? He inherited it. Now, because it's the movie and they wanted to make everything so fantastic and great, and because we were Darth Vader and Darth Sidious and Adam's family and mentally deranged people and things like in previous times, he ran a business and he owned his own home, and it was the most prosperous seafood business in his region. That's just the region, like Greenville, Alabama, that thing. It doesn't say whether it was the best in the country, but it was the best in the region. And he was the manager of it in the book. And that's believable, because he doesn't start up that company until he's at least in his 40s. In the second book, where things start coming together, it starts off he's in his 40s, so he's got a lot of experience, and by that time he's also got a team. When they set up the oyster company, and they don't make the same mistakes as they did in the shrimp company. So that would have been very profitable. He wouldn't have been a billionaire by today's standards, like it would be like it says in the movies. Because millionaire in those times, money, like the amount of money they did the tally. They did the amount of money that that would be in today's money is billions. Outlandish in comparison to the book. Yeah. So the other thing I was going to talk about, the link between Baldur and Jesus. There's differences. But, you can see why they made it so that Baldur became Jesus, because you have a look at how Jesus was portrayed in your architecture and stuff like that. They just took the image of Baldur. When it comes to Germanic peoples anyway. Germanic part of European architecture and that. Baldur was the god of light. God of peace, and he was incapable of like, well, not I don't know if he's incapable, but he everyone loved him because he was the purest, like the purest. God. Not that the other ones were bad, but it's just a description of how things are. And so Baldur was like known to be, by today's standards, naive, or maybe he wasn't naive, but he didn't have any issues with anybody. He walked around. It says that he was given a shield of protection. The gods created a shield of protection because they wanted to protect him from the evils of this world, because he didn't have a hurtful bone in him. So they test the shield of protection, and they're throwing spears, things that they had at those times. This is what's written in the books and what's read on YouTube and stuff. They threw spears, rocks, shields at him, and no matter what they threw, axes, tomahawks, nothing could hurt him, because the shield of protection would bounce them off. So everyone was happy and pleased that this god, who had no harmful bone in his body, was protected by this great shield that the gods had made for him. The other gods, god of poetry, wisdom, knowledge, Odin, who's also like the All-Father, so he's like portrayed as an old man. But that doesn't mean, it just means he's wise. Then there's the god of strength, and that's power, and that's Thor, and he's portrayed as this young guy. It's like strong and powerful. And there's the god of the god of war? That was Chew. Also all these gods, and there's Freya, Odin's wife, and Thor, and their partners. So the gods that were pleased that they were throwing these tomahawks and axes and spears and shields and rocks at Baldur, and none of it was touching him because the shield of protection. However, there was a deity by the name of Loki. He was the god of mischief, and he devised the plan because he viewed it as a challenge to break the shield, and he wanted to break the shield, and with the intent of hurting Baldur, Odin's favourite son, the most popular god because of his kind, gentle nature. And Loki found a mistletoe. Twined it together. Something I thought it was. And he threw it. And he's also the god of mischief and cunning. And creativity and stuff as well. But, poetry and all that's got to do with creativity. And there's poems in there. They sound like, when they translate them from German to English, they sounded just like the rappers of today. Except we're not talking about killing each other, but And Loki killed Baldur. So the thing is and the world grieved, but then as summer came, Baldur came back to life. So even we have to be wary of the evil.